Hey guys, you're watching APS Amplifier. Welcome to episode 3 of
The
Banished Zone. The new segment where Alex and I, this isn't Alec, it is Alex.
Yes, my name is Alex. I wear glasses.
Yeah, where we do different games where we rate stuff, eliminate stuff, and this week the segment is
United We Stand. And in United We Stand, we group some things together.
Yeah. We didn't know what to call this, but it was like the name of a Yu-Gi-Oh card, so it kind of felt like it fits.
It's what we have to do here.
The concept, though, for this week is that basically we have to find what is each card game type IP's equivalent to Pikachu.
Yep, we want to find out all the card game mascots that we can while sitting in these chairs and not getting up and looking up online.
Yeah, and more specifically, we thought it would be kind of fun to decide not just what is each one's Pikachu, but also what is their Charizard. Because I think like that's like two different
at least for Pokemon,
delineations.
It's two different things.
Because I think, so Pikachu is iconic. It's the cute, accessible side of Pokemon.
Yes, that's like typically what you think of a mascot character for many things. But Pokemon introduces a secondary concept too, which is the Charizard, which is your strong,
kind of
symbol.
Cool, powerful, like
and
thing.
they exist in games too.
And I think every game has one, whether directly or indirectly, because it's important. It's just like a good marketing tool. You know, one kind of brings in the families and like kind of the young kids or whatever, but also one is like for the more like, you know, I'm a cool kid or like I'm like a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, like it's more, I might be more of a Charizard person. Now, that's not to say that these aren't overused. I think that's actually almost the point, is that the mascots have to be something that's over-marketed and overused.
Yeah, for instance, I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh's had multiple Charizards over the years.
And yet, kind of really only had one. I think for Yu-Gi-Oh, it's an easy one. We should start with it since we're talking about it anyway.
We're Yu-Gi-Oh channel, right?
Okay, so what is Yu-Gi-Oh's Charizard?
All right, let's do it. Let's say it both at the count of 3, and we'll say it on 0.
Okay.
From 3, and we'll say it on 0.
Right. 3, 2, 1.
Dark
Blue
Magician
Eyes.
Girl.
That's Blue Eyes, right? Like you don't think it's Dark Magician, or you think it's Dark Magician Girl?
No, I think it's Blue Eyes.
It's definitely Blue Eyes. I mean,
I just wanted to say a different thing from you.
Okay, yeah. Card game wise, like, I mean, now for what it's worth, there is an argument to be made that like Dark Magician Girl occupies her own niche that like a lot of things have.
Yeah, though I don't think it's really mascot in any shape or form. She's a mascot for Yu-Gi-Oh, but never the.
Yeah, never the mascot. Something that's always been ironic about Yu-Gi-Oh to me is that like the protagonist's monster is less popular than the antagonist's monster.
Yeah.
Because like Kaiba's Blue Eyes is definitely more iconic. The first set is named after Blue Eyes, like, you know, Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's the most generally expensive Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Maybe Blue Eyes was meant to be Yugi's card in maybe an early draft of things.
It's possible. I think that something that Kazuki Takahashi did, and this is just kind of conjecture, is I think he liked the idea of, you know, wizards and knights and stuff and like mages fighting against dragons.
Yes.
So I think that Blue Eyes was always supposed to kind of be like an antagonistic card, but like who knows?
They could have made it look more evil though.
Something kind of interesting about that actually, this is just a tidbit, is that Yugi and Kaiba actually are more associated with like darkness and light respectively. Mm-hmm. Kaiba uses more like light monsters, Blue Eyes is a light monster, Dark Magician's
He wears white.
conventionally more like evilish, but it's kind of interesting, like little, what would you call that? Like I guess a contrast. So
yeah.
But if I think Blue Eyes being the Charizard of Yu-Gi-Oh is obvious, what is the Pikachu of Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yugi. Yugi is the Pikachu of Yu-Gi-Oh.
You think like Yugi-Moto?
Yes. I'm not actually sure what else it could be.
Okay.
I mean, his face is Yu-Gi-Oh.
Possibly. I was gonna say, like, if we have to go by monsters, I was gonna say maybe like Kuribo. Kuribo's kind of it's cute,
Kuribo's
it's fluffy.
Managed to show up in almost every version of Yu-Gi-Oh there is.
Like a floating mascot. It talks to Yugi sometimes, and
And Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden has Wing Kuribo. So I mean, there is always a, much like with Pikachu, there is always a Kuribo in each new generation of Yu-Gi-Oh. Yep. Like Wing Kuribo, and actually, Yusei is the only person who didn't have one.
Yeah, except remember Luna, one of the twins.
Oh, never mind.
She had Kuribon.
Yeah, she had Kuribon. There's been like Photon, Kuribo, or whatever it is. Kuri Photon for like.
In Zexal?
I think Zexal was like Kuri Photon. It might have been Arc 5. But yeah, they've always done like, there's like Link Kuribo.
Yep.
And like it's similar to how like Pikachu's got, like +1 Minun.
All the
like,
Pikachu clones.
There's all different little Pikachu clones. So I feel like it's probably just Kuribo.
We should rank Pikachu clones one day.
That's why didn't we think of that?
There's so many Pokemon ideas. We have to do a not Pokemon idea for once.
Okay, next week maybe we just rank Pikachu clones.
Yeah,
that'd be easy. Let's see. So yeah, I think that's Yu-Gi-Oh's, right?
Yeah, that's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Are there any like competitors that we maybe just aren't giving, like, because I've always thought like if Yu-Gi-Oh wanted to, they could have definitely turned things like Time Wizard into more of mascot characters, or like Baby Dragon.
They really could have.
They just didn't
iconic designs.
do much of it at first, but
well, I would say that with each iteration of Yu-Gi-Oh, the Charizard of their game, you could say, changed with each protagonist's monster.
yeah, and they're like rivals and stuff.
Because, like in typical fashion, they got lots of retrains and new forms and different card versions of the same thing over and over again. And they were like big players in their like sets that they came out in. Of course, almost none of them were actually good.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Would you say that there's like does Exodia fall into any of, like, what would Pokemon's Exodia be? Like, would Exodia be Mewtwo?
That's a rough one. So what even is an Exodia though?
Because Exodia,
like
it's supposed to represent, the strongest. Would it actually be like Arceus?
No, Arceus is too unknowable.
Or Arceus or whatever. Yeah, not that many people actually like think of Arceus. They don't associate it as much with Pokemon. It pretty much has to be a Gen 1 equivalent.
Yeah, and I honestly, Mewtwo. Mewtwo is the epitome of strength in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Especially considering that amazing voice work we got off Mewtwo in the first movie.
And also just in-game, very high stats. You have to like get it post-game.
Yep.
Okay, so Exodia is Mewtwo.
So now
Kuribo is Pikachu. Blue Eyes is Charizard. I don't think there's any other like general things to do with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Let me get this straight. So we're looking for a franchise as Pikachu.
Yeah.
It's Charizard. And now it's
and
Exodia.
Maybe it's like Exodia. It's Mewtwo, I guess, would be to follow the.
If you're following that trend, they're Mewtwo.
There's a reason I actually pointed that out, because the next one I wanted to talk about is Digimon.
You're making this so much harder for me.
Well, so you're the local Digimon guru.
I know a lot about Digimon, yeah.
Off the top of your head, what's the Pikachu of Digimon?
Oh yeah, it's easy. That's Agumon. They use Agumon in most, I'd say 90% of the marketing for Digimon is Agumon's face.
You know what's funny about that?
What's that?
I don't think that you're incorrect, but I do think that there is a competitor to Agumon.
Oh, there is. I wonder if you know about it, though.
And it's one that like they seem to enjoy in their marketing a lot, is Terriermon.
You did know. Okay,
yeah, it's Terriermon. They've been using Terriermon a good bit.
Specifically Terriermon Assistant.
Yeah, like where they get like kind of the lab coat, or sometimes they'll be like a lab coat, or like kind of glasses or whatever. Yeah, they're the VTuber model. So it's interesting because Terriermon is like a Gen 3 Digimon, or actually it showed up in end of Gen 2 sort of.
No. Gen 2, but I know what you mean.
Tamer's popularized.
The movie happened, and they introduced Terriermon in that movie. So it came out in that movie, but actually before it came out in Tamer's.
Yeah, but we'll say Tamer's popularized Terriermon. Yeah. It makes it interesting, though, because it's like, well, Terriermon isn't, a Gen 1 thing. Yeah. But I know that they use it a lot. Like, they'll sometimes use it alongside Agumon. Sometimes they'll use it completely in the absence of Agumon for, like, whenever they're doing those digital presentations of new games and anime and manga and stuff. So, I mean, I think, like, there's definitely a competitor there.
Yeah, Terriermon specifically took off in a way that's different from other rookie Digimon in Digimon.
Who do you like more?
Agumon or Terriermon?
Yeah. Like, who fits more, like, kind of mascot-y for you? So,
the mascot to me is still Agumon, but Terriermon Assistant is just great. Mm-hmm. It's got a great body form, the small limbs and fingers and toes, people love that, the big ears. But now it's got a cute little lab coat. What's not to love?
There's more personality to it, I think.
Yeah.
So it kind of is effectively the equivalent to Detective Pikachu, right? Like, would you say that yes, no?
Huh.
Yeah, I never made that connection until like literally the 10 seconds ago that I said it. But I think it's,
Wow.
I think that
There's something there, yeah.
Something there. Okay.
I want to see them meet now.
I know. In this completely unrealistic world where Digimon and Pokemon could ever collab on anything,
That could never
it just
happen.
would never happen. But who's the Charizard?
Well, the Charizard of Digimon. Well,
This was made much easier because we introduced what is the Mewtwo. Because the
I think
Mewtwo is Omnimon, which
Yeah.
means that Omnimon's out of the running as the Charizard.
yeah, because I can't see anything else getting the Mewtwo slot besides Omnimon. There are lots of incredibly powerful Digimon, but none as iconic as Omnimon. And when you think of cool factor, which is what the Charizard represents, while Omnimon is incredibly cool, the original cool was the rest of Agumon's Digivolution line.
Yeah,
We're talking
Greymon,
about
War
Greymon,
Metal Greymon.
Metal Greymon.
You know
All
what's
the Greymons.
interesting about that actually is like, Greymon's not really like a dragon.
Nope, it's a
And
dinosaur.
obviously you don't have to be a dragon to be like your series is Charizard, but that is just kind of a small distinction.
Yep.
Still though, similarly to Charizard, it's kind of more associated with like these fire attacks.
Fiery reptile.
Yeah. So it fits. Do we have any competitors or any like other standouts in Digimon that you think like
It gets interesting, but generally, based on all the different Digimon anime, how usually the protagonist Digimon is a reptile.
kind of typically like a red coated type of reptile?
Yeah, like usually they're in red decks in the card game, but they're not always red. Like Vmon is blue, Galmon is white. But a lot of them, even if they're not red colored, like Gilmon's red colored, they also have fire attacks.
Yeah.
Like Gilmon is both red and has fire attacks. Digimon Data Squad, or Savers as some people know it, just reused a new design for Agumon. It was just Agumon again with a new Digivolution line. But there were still dragons and dinosaurs.
Right. Okay. So we don't feel like there's any other thing being left out. I mean, I guess with Digimon, it's something that's interesting is that I noticed there are certain like pairs, like
Yeah.
you know, technically like Agumon and
Garurumon.
and like kind of the Garurumon or Gabumon line. But Pokemon doesn't really have like an equivalent to that. So.
The Garurumon and like other rival character mons that are rife within Digimon are basically like the rival character.
Yeah,
to the
because effectively the
mascot.
rival. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
They're cool, but they don't quite hit the way the others do. But they are still really
Yeah, they're
cool.
usually cool. I thought of like Anjumon and Anjuamon. Like, I don't think that they're like kind of
They're
that
not
iconic though.
mascots,
So.
and if they were mascots, I'd be horrified.
And they don't actually recur throughout Digimon. Like they will
They're
show
not in
up in
everything,
others,
yeah.
but like they don't get like a new variation on them very much.
Not
it
really.
seems like so. Okay.
Yeah, that's an archetype that they are not keen on trying to reproduce often. But it does happen. There are a lot of womans.
Yeah, Digimon's got no shortage of those. Okay. Cool. Yes. I mean, I guess that's the Digimon thing.
Yeah, I think so.
That covers it. Okay. Now things get like really weird.
Because now we get into parts where like Paul knows some things, I know some things, but not a lot of things that we both know a lot about. I did have one franchise on the back of my head I wanted to throw into the ring here.
All right.
It's a rough one though.
I was gonna say the one I was gonna say was also rough. So
Okay.
you first.
Dragon Quest.
Oh, okay, that's like a curveball.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a terribly hard one.
It's well known somewhat for most people. I played a lot of the Dragon Quest Monsters games, which are monster collector games like Pokemon and things like that. So
Right,
it
so it's a
fits
good fit.
really well with for me. But I'm not like super knowledgeable about Dragon Quest. I just wanted to say that its mascot is the slime.
Yeah, its mascot's definitely the slime. I can't speak any more than that because I just don't know like any of. I'm not super familiar with the rest of the Dragon Quest monsters, but the slime is easily the Pikachu.
I don't see, like, even if we try I can't even choose a Charizard for that one because nothing sticks the way the slime does. Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But
Well,
nothing's
no.
like slime in Dragon Quest.
Yeah, because the slime kind of just represents the basic level 1 enemy kind of like mob.
It's in everything.
But it's also kind of got this air of companionship to it. Like, like...
It can be your friend.
Be your
or
friend.
Your enemy.
Yeah.
And it has all these different forms.
I was going to say the hard one was going to be keeping it in the kind of card game lane is like Magic the Gathering.
Oh, God, yeah.
A game that already is sort of struggling a little bit with its own identity crisis with these universes beyonds. Like, I know people don't love those. But I don't know that they've got... Like, I know they have Jace.
I mean, yeah, he's... I guess...
Who the fuck is he?
I don't know. I've seen him in some Magic lore. He's a big deal in the lore because he's a
planeswalker.
A planeswalker character, and he's like doing stuff that I don't understand. All I know is that he's kind of their protagonist, but I don't know if he's a mascot character or is he just the Ash.
He's kind of the Ash. I think if I had to compare him to something from Yu-Gi-Oh, I would say it would be like Dark Magician. Yeah, I guess. I suppose. That's maybe stretching it.
It's tough with Magic because
they introduced Loot recently.
Yeah, Loot would be their newly minted Pikachu pretty easily, right?
Newly minted.
Because like it's not an old thing. Loot is a thing
he got
that came up
introduced
with
like 2
in the
years
last
ago.
5 years.
Like 2 years ago.
2 years.
Like
yeah.
he's pretty new. I think Loot is cute.
Yeah, it's a good design.
It's maybe a little scary, but like in a cute, gremlin-y way, like I would say. Because he's got like a bajillion teeth, which is like, but...
Venom has a lot of teeth too, and we all love him.
Yeah, I don't know that Magic has like... It kind of feels like for me, Magic the Gathering does not even seem like a game that tries to market itself in that way. Like it's not really trying to have like monsters that you're like collecting or being friends with or anything. Like it's just...
Maybe.
Everyone is just like a strong or mysterious character, but like they're not... creatures.
I couldn't choose an Exodia for Magic.
I don't know enough to do so.
I don't know anything about it enough. I know like 2 more characters, and I'm just gonna throw out that maybe a Johnny Goldmane is their Charizard because
who is Johnny Goldmane?
That's the tiger lion thing.
I don't know who that is.
Remember that when we did the
in the starter decks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like around it.
Kind of lion guy.
Every so often I see that name pop up alongside Magic lore.
Okay,
so I feel like maybe that's their Charizard. Actually, we need to get a Magic player on this video.
Yeah, we'll have to get a Magic player.
They can tell us that it's actually like Teferi's Protection or something. I don't know.
Who is Teferi? Who?
I don't know. I know it's a strong card.
Okay, yeah, I don't...
Maybe Black Lotus is their Charizard.
But I think Black Lotus is...
Jewel Lotus? I don't know.
There is a card called Jeweled Lotus.
There's a couple.
So there's a Black Lotus and a Jeweled Lotus. Well, I was going to say, like, that's almost its own category, just since we're, like, here. Black Lotus is, I guess, like, Pot of Greed?
Yeah, like, draw cards. We should do a video on draw cards.
We could do a video on draw cards. I was just comparing it to, like, literally just being a notorious object within the game.
Yeah.
Which, like, I guess Black Lotus would be a Pot of Greed. Would that be a Pokeball?
Yeah.
Is, like, a Black Lotus a Pokeball?
Okay, no. I can't
like,
see
have we gone too far here? And is that a Digivice?
Because I think those kinds of objects are the IP distilled into its simplest form. The symbol for Pokemon is a Pokeball. The symbol for Digimon.
I mean, I was gonna say it would be a Digivice, but they just changed the Digivice.
They change it every time they make a new one. So I don't know. It's hard.
So it hasn't been as iconic.
But that's not the scope of today's video.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sort of is a little vague comparison.
We're going on a huge tangent.
Any other major IPs that come to mind? Like, I was gonna say it's hard with like any Bandai games because like they're really just based off of their own anime properties, and that just gets into a whole like separate type of conversation. But any other like monster collector, like there's like Bakugan, which I know it's got.
It's got stuff.
What is the name of that red dragon?
That was Drago.
Yeah. That was his name? I thought it was something more.
No, Pyrus Dragonoid was its first name.
Okay.
Then he got other names.
That's Charizard.
No matter what, his common name
was Drago. That's Charizard, okay.
Yeah, that's easily their Charizard.
Is there a Pikachu? I don't know enough about Bakugan.
Yeah, not really. Bakugan really just... It didn't get there, I think. Like, it's...
I feel like the 2008 Bakugan thing was actually like more of a cultural craze than whatever it is now per se.
I'm not sure what it is now, to be honest.
But yeah, okay, so we know it at least has a Charizard.
I don't think it has any other mascots. I don't think anything else was that recognizable in Bakugan. I mean, after all, I think for all 3 versions of Bakugan there have been, I think some type of Drago or Pyrus Dragonoid was always in them.
Yeah. Any others that come to mind? Any other IPs that were?
Oh, yeah,
I feel like there's something obvious.
I've been thinking on some.
Okay.
Monster Rancher.
I leave this all to you.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Who's
I
their
don't know
Pikachu?
if they have a Charizard, but their Pikachu is Suezo. Because I think in almost every single Monster Rancher video game, Suezo was a box art character. It was always somewhere on there.
Okay.
And it's a very simple design. It's mostly round. It's basically a giant eyeball with a stalk-like leg that it bounces on. And that's it. It's kind of ugly, honestly.
Yeah, maybe not as cute and endearing, but...
But remember, there's a specific group of people that actually find something can be so ugly that they're cute. And that's where Suezo falls.
Yeah.
Even though I always like Mochi better, because Mochi was just cute and not ugly. But Suezo, man.
Other IPs?
Let's see.
Specifically anything that got a card game. I feel like I'm forgetting some card game, but then I think of like Disney Lorcana, and that's just Disney stuff.
I mean...
So that's not really as...
Oh, there's one I don't understand.
Okay.
Battle Spirits.
I don't know anything about that either. Go.
I've played it enough times where I know that there was that one red dragon card that I don't know the name of.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's on everything.
It's on, yeah,
Like
it's kind of like
Victory's
a
in the
dark
thing or
reddish
something? I don't
thing.
remember.
You just don't know enough about
But
like,
that
what
would
the
be their
heck that thing
Charizard
is.
easily. And that's all I got for them. That's all I got. I don't know anything else.
You know what's kind of interesting? Like, to almost like bring it all full circle a bit. It's funny because like the moment that you look at a franchise and you can't identify its Pikachu or you can't identify its Charizard, you suddenly start to realize why said franchise probably just isn't that popular. And I don't mean isn't that popular in a dismissive way, but like, I guess what I'm saying is like, this has highlighted to me the importance of making your clearly defining what your series' Pikachu is and like what your series' Charizard is. Because if those 2 things are clearly defined to where even the layman kind of knows about it just from a distance, that helps.
Good. Yeah, I totally agree with that. For example, I'm going to do a curveball. Gundam. Yeah, Mobile Suit Gundam.
Okay, what are those? I'm not...
So, I mean,
I feel like it operates on a different
I think you
lane.
already know, though.
I actually don't.
Okay. So, Gundam is a highly recognized mecha IP. And it's been around so long that its Charizard can only be one thing. It's the original RX-78 Gundam that they use in all their marketing.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
And you even also should recognize what their Pikachu is.
The little round ball thing?
Yep, the Haros.
Yeah, the Haros.
They're in almost everything. They're round and cute. That's their Pikachu.
That fits. Yeah, because when I think of like these series where like I don't know what those are, it's like it also tends to be series where I'm just like not as into them.
Yep.
It just goes to show there is importance in that. Like Pokemon gets a lot of flack for like, oh, they just like push Gen 1 all the time. They're always giving a new Charizard form and stuff. But they do it for a reason. It's what people know.
Maybe.
Like the idea, like anytime there's a new Pokemon like card set, if there's a Charizard in the set, that's immediately the money card.
Yep.
And like if there's a new Charizard form in a game, you know,
People
whatever, like, or people care what's this gen's new Pikachu. Like it's always this recurring thing. So
yeah, it's actually kind of a fun thing to find out. Okay, so what's our next Pikachu clone? While yes, most of them kind of suck, a lot of them are actually fun little tweaks on the formula.
Yeah, kind of the mouse with the weird design. My favorite one's probably Mimikyu. I think that was
so cool to me.
The most.
And I think didn't Mimikyu also come out in the same game as another Pikachu clone?
There was a game that had like maybe 2 of them, but I don't know if it was Mimikyu.
Because Mimikyu was like an off the wall choice.
Oh, was it like I know the Pachirisu was Gen 4.
Yeah,
what was the one with the like electric
anymore.
things that like flew, like
it wasn't Togedemaru.
Emolga? Was it Emolga? Would that even count?
God, what was Emolga again? Is that a flying squirrel?
Yeah, it was like the electric kind of flying squirrel
I think
thing.
It wasn't Emolga. Maybe. Wait, what did Mimikyu come out in? I don't even know right now. Is it Sun and Moon?
Mimikyu I thought was like Gen 7, yeah. Maybe we've lost the plot. Anyway.
I think it was Togedemaru then, actually. I think I had it right the first time.
Oh, I do remember Togedemaru. Yeah. That's... that was it. But that was the Sun and Moon one.
Their Gen's Pikachu clones. That was kind of fun.
Cool. Well, I guess that's the United We Stand.
Man, I could have kept going.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could technically you can extrapolate this out to like any IP that's kind of just vaguely
because I think we've reached out to not
fantasy-ish and like, 'cause I mean, Star Wars, like I'd say like R2D2 is Pikachu. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Like they keep making these small astromech droids in every like major Star Wars property and they all have that same R2D2 role.
Yeah, which like I guess that's almost its own video of like kind of the trope of like the little mechanical companion.
Yeah, either way,
because
it's a mascot.
Because like so many shows are the mechanical companion.
Yep.
You know, whether it's like Goddard and Jimmy Neutron, the things in Gundam, like all of like that cute like mechanical mascot is a trope.
Man, we really could have done a different video with the same premise.
We really could have.
That would have been a longer video.
Yo, well, that's the thing. So this is episode 3 of the Banished Zone. Hopefully you guys have seen the first 2 episodes. We're trying to just feel our way around with this segment and see, you know,
what sticks.
Like what sticks. Like if you have ideas for stuff that we could discuss, because I think that this, more than anything, this video gave us ideas for other videos, like just things you can compare between IPs and stuff. So if there's stuff that like, if there's like a structure or a type of comparison or whatever, leave it in the comments.
Yeah, we're going to be reading through those things because we really liked the last video and we're kind of considering maybe doing a lot more of that. But I also don't
card
want
game
to...
conjecture stuff. But we didn't know if that needed to be like this segment, if that needed to be its own sort of different thing.
Do we axe our other segments and just focus on that?
Yeah, so we're just trying everything, throwing it at the wall, see what sticks, and we'll read people's feedback and sort of try to go from there.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys, this is Alex, not Alec.
Yeah, and this has been The Banished Zone, episode 3. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Pass turn.
Pass turn.